What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Charles Enoch, and y'all are watching Invest in Myself Recap Wednesdays, where I give you the highlights of last week's video and all that you need to know without all the extra. So before we get started, you already know your boy does have to do the YouTube thing. So my goal is to get 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Now I know that's a crazy goal, but it's my goal. So let's make it happen. So if you're new to the channel, take a little bit of time, hit that subscribe button for me. Also, go ahead, hit the like button for me as well, and leave a comment down below. I appreciate anybody that does all three because it does help me reach a higher audience base. Now let's get to the video. So today we're going to be talking about when you're doing velocity banking to pay off your credit cards, which credit card should you focus on first? Should it be the credit card with the highest balance and the lowest interest rate? Or should it be a credit card with a lower balance and one of the highest interest rates? There is an equation you can do to see which credit card is charging you the most interest and causing you to lose the most cash flow every month. So credit card interest is calculated by simple interest. And when you understand how simple interest is calculated, you can use these calculations on each of your credit cards to figure out which one is charging the most interest. Once we understand that, we can use velocity banking on that particular card to pay it off first. All right, so on the whiteboard, you already know we get down to business here. So let's look at this particular scenario here. So we have an individual, their income is going to be $4,500 that they get per month. Their expenses are going to be $4,200. Part of their expenses, the rent is going to be $2,000, I'm sorry. So with their income being $4,500 and their total expenses with the rent and credit card debt and everything, their cash flow is going to be $300. Now let's look at the two credit cards we're going to be taking a look at here. So we have credit card number one is going to have a $6,000 balance on it. The interest rate is astronomically high at 32%. Then we have credit card number two. It is $19,000 and the interest is at 16%. So we're going to keep it simple. Credit card one and credit card two, the minimum payment per month is going to be $200 each credit card. All right, so let's look at the next section here. Which credit card should we be paying off first? So if we look at credit card number one, we're pretty much going to be calculating the simple interest here, right? So credit card number one has $6,000 on it. We're going to times that by 0.32. That's pretty much the 32%. We're going to divide that by 12 because there's 12 months in a year. What we end up with is $160 of interest. So we see which credit card is charging the most interest, and that is going to be credit card number two. It is making us lose a lot more cash flow than credit card number one because it's $160, number two, $253.33. So we're going to want to velocity bank credit card number two by putting our income, as much income as we can, in credit card number two, and that's going to reduce that interest that is being charged. So we're going to take a look at the scenario on the other side of the board, see how this particularly works out. All right, so we're on the other side of the board here. Let's take a look at the velocity banking strategy and how to incorporate everything that we pretty much talked about. So step one, we're going to first pay our rent, and this is going to be with our cash. We're going to pay the rent $2,000, and then credit card number one, we're going to pay $200 with our cash. So $2,200, one is going towards the rent, the other one is going towards credit card number one because that is the minimum payment that you have to pay on credit card number one. Now step two, we're going to put the rest of our cash income onto credit card number two. So that'll be $2,300 because remember, our income is $4,500 for the month. So that means the balance on
credit card number 2 is going to be $16,700 because we're putting that $2,300 on there. Remember, it was $19,000, right? So step number 3, we're going to pay all the other expenses on or with credit card number 2. So since we put pretty much our whole income or half our income on credit card number 2, right? We're going to use credit card number 2 to pay our expenses. Now, some of our expenses were the rent, which is $2,000, and then $200 minimum payment on credit card number 1. So our total expenses is $4,200. We got to minus the $2,200. So the rest of our expenses are $2,000. So if we break this down, we put $2,300, part of our income, on credit card number 2. Now $2,000 is going to go out for expenses. This is going to leave our cash flow at $300, right? So $4,500 minus $4,200, cash flow $300. So step 4, the balance on credit card number 2 now is $18,700. Now, this is how you're going to calculate the simple interest per day in regards to the credit card here. So step number 5, SI is going to stand for your simple interest. Now, the thing is, in simple interest, it is calculated daily. So whatever the balance is on your card, this is how much is going to be taken out daily if that balance is left. Now, we're going to say this individual gets paid bi-weekly or twice a month here, right? So part of the time, the credit card is going to have the $16,700, and the other part of the time it's going to have that $18,700. So we're going to have to go half of the month with the $18,700, half of the month with the $16,700. So we need to see how much interest is charged daily when those two amounts are on the credit card. So for simple interest, we're going to first do the calculation for $16,700. We're going to times that by 0.16 because that's the interest rate on the card. And now we're going to divide it by 365. So when we first put that whole, let's say, paycheck of $2,300 and the credit card's at $16,700, that balance per day is going to be $7.37 or 32 cents that it's charging you daily on interest, right? Now, when we're using our expenses or when we're paying our expenses, then eventually the balance is going to get to $18,700. Now, let's see how much that is per day. So $18,700 times by 0.16, the interest rate, and we're going to divide it by 365 days in a year. So per day with this balance is charging us $8.19 per day. Now, this is not kind of how everything works in a non-perfect world, right? Because you're going to be putting money in and incrementally charging it. So you would have to do this daily interest calculation every day to get the perfect interest being charged total. But what we're going to do, we're going to split half of the month, 15 days, and then the other half of the month, 15 days is the other balance. So if we take $7.32, we're timing that by 15 days, right? It's going to equal $109.80. Now, when we charge or when we times $8.19 times that by 15 days, we're going to get $122.85, right? Because we're going to pretty much just imagine that half the time the balance was $16,700. The other half of the time it was $18,700, right? We total that up. The interest being charged is $232.65. Now, we got to see what our actual cash flow is, right? So the cash flow that we have is $300. Then we're gonna minus $232.65. So our actual cash flow is $67.35 after the interest is applied. So we would keep doing this method on this particular card because it's charging us the most interest. And obviously the more that you put in there and leave in there, the less interest is getting calculated daily. All right, so next week, we're gonna go over another scenario on which credit card should you pay off first. So I got a few emails saying, hey, Charles, can you do another example? So guess what? We're doing another example. So I hope you guys have a good rest of the week. I will see you this Saturday with a new video. Peace out.